Hello and welcome to the RSGPodcast, episode 76.
Are we starting now?
We are starting. So, we don't really have a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure we could probably windbag on stuff that we have, but, you know.
Yeah,
it's what we do.
Yeah.
We can.
So,
I'm pretty positive that we can.
let's go ahead and just jump right into it. You guys want to talk about Kesha or Kesha first? How do you say her name?
Kesha.
Kesha.
That's Kesha. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that the two listeners out there probably know about this, but, you know, Kesha lost her battle with Sony in the courts, who made her work with, contractually made her work with the same producer who raped her.
Yes.
And, like, sexually abused her for a while when she was, like, 18 getting started, so...
Yes.
Yeah, so she's been fighting a long battle to, you know, be allowed to be out of that contract so that she can go make music again.
Well, yeah, specifically the problem is she can't go make music right now because if she's going to do it, she has to do it with this particular producer.
Right. Yeah.
And this dude raped her.
Yeah.
So, and that's just not okay.
So she was like, I don't want to work with somebody who rapes me.
Right.
Which is fair.
But the court was like, no, you have to. You signed a contract that says it's okay.
See, isn't it kind of funny that, like, the court is making her, Kesha, work with this guy who raped her, but yet it took us, like, so long to get Bill Cosby in the court system to get in trouble for, you know, all the stuff that he did. And it's like, I don't know. It's...
Well, there's a couple things to realize about this. The first thing is a lot of Bill Cosby's, you know, charges, this has all happened in a time where it was different to be a personality.
Right.
You know, a famous personality. Where now things are nearly impossible to, like, keep your private life private.
Right,
Back in those days, you still had that ability.
Yeah.
And now it's just not possible anymore. People...
Social
don't
media,
care.
Facebook,
Yeah, exactly.
everything, they'll hack your stuff and you're going to be found out.
Right.
Yep.
But it's unfortunate about Kesha because, like, that's a hard thing.
It's a sight more than unfortunate.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question.
It's not okay.
We can't, like, poo-poo, oh, it's unfortunate. No, it's way worse than that.
Okay, bad choice of words. Shit's fucked up.
Right.
I don't know the details of, like, the case and why that conclusion came down. And not that, like, there's any real excuse for it, because there's not.
Right.
This is a huge undertaking for Kesha. Like, it's not just... She's not going to just go against Sony with a lawsuit just because she doesn't want to work with Sony more. I'm tired of it.
Right.
You know, it's obviously pretty serious.
Yeah.
You know, and you can pretty well guess that... I mean, I don't know if there's any criminal charges going against that guy at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think there is.
He's probably getting away scot-free with the whole thing.
Well, it's probably part of the reason why they won the case, honestly.
Right.
I don't think she's pressing any charges for the actual rape, or she can't.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Well, what's the statute of limitations on something like that? Do we know?
It's gonna be a while.
Is
25
it?
years on
Oh, okay, so
most
yeah.
places.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's a state-by-state basis. I think I'm pretty sure it's like 25 years for rape.
So,
But-
I mean, she still could, technically.
But the point is that, like,
Yeah, but if she can't, she has to
She can't
prove it.
prove it right
at
now.
that point, right?
nobody's gonna, like, pay this much money and go through all this hassle just to break a contract.
No.
Right.
Like, because they don't want to work something they don't like very much.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and artists are famous for, like, there are a lot of people who put out absolutely shit albums just to fulfill the last two albums of their contract to get away from somebody. That's what they do. That's the standard procedure. If she doesn't want to do that, even, then this is obviously something more important than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more important than just getting out of her contract.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. No, it's a terrible precedent to set. It's a terrible precedent to set. And it just goes to show that, like, I mean, people want to talk about feminism not being necessary in our society. You can't get any more blatant than this. It still happens.
Right.
And it happens right in front of our faces.
Right.
Like, this is just a blatant abuse of money and power. Blatant.
Yeah.
You know? And it's shit. It's real terrible.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, what can you do
Yeah.
at this point? Like, hey, how do you fight that system?
There's a campaign going around to just raise awareness for the situation and the issue and stuff like that on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. But I mean, like you said, what really can you do about it?
Right.
Judgment's been passed.
Let's start a White House petition to make Obama tell Sony to...
There would have to be a larger backlash, and a sizable backlash against this particular gentleman. And if there was enough of a public backlash,
right.
it would make a difference.
It would make a difference.
I wonder if Anonymous is going to do Op this guy. It'd be kind of neat if they do.
I don't know, right?
I mean, they like to stand up for the little guy and
they
injustices
do like to stand
and
up
stuff.
for injustice.
They've kind of become some white knights. Just going to put that out there.
Well, you might be...
I wouldn't say they were white knights so much as they are
cream-colored knights.
Anti-system.
True, right.
You know what I mean? They're for what, like, the system is wrong, and they know it's wrong, fucked up, and they're for breaking it because it is wrong.
Yeah, something like this though. I think this would be, I don't know.
Maybe. I mean,
this is something that would be up their alley.
Yeah,
they like to get into rape cases and stuff like that, and and fight for the oppressed in this case. They've done in the past, so.
I mean, could things change? I think they could. It would take a pretty large outcry.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be an appeal. There has to be an appeal process. I mean,
maybe.
I mean,
it's not criminal. It's not a criminal case.
True.
So.
It's just trying to bring. Yeah.
Well, you know what's really sickening about the whole thing to me is that, like, okay, she broke contract. Like, find her a fuckload of money and let her go. There's no reason
to force her to make
for Sony to completely ruin her livelihood for the rest of her life. That is just
well,
that's just shitty thing to do. Period. Even if for 1 second we would entertain the fact that or entertain the idea that she might not be telling the truth about the rape.
Okay, that's the only way it makes any sense, right? If we entertain the thought that she's lying about being raped, and she's only doing it to ruin this dude's life. That's the only reason.
That would be, but in a case like that, what would you do as Sony?
Yeah, you bury that shit. It never becomes news.
You get rid of that. You get rid of that.
Yeah.
But for what I mean, it's really I don't understand. The whole thing is just really odd, and doesn't make any sense really. Like in any case, obviously, I think that she wouldn't go through all this stuff.
Right.
Like.
Yeah, what's the purpose of going through this particular type of hardship? I mean, saying these things, acting this thing, without being serious. You know?
Potentially giving up her livelihood.
Yeah,
right.
If she loses the case, which she did.
Yeah. Well, and now she's forever going to be like, because there's still a stigma against women who get raped. It's ridiculous. It's bullshit. But there's a stigma out there. It exists. You know. Yeah. And there's always going to be people who are like, well, she didn't really get raped. She was asking for it, or whatever else, or she's just mad at that guy, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he didn't pay her enough attention, or he moved on, or whatever, and she's just angry at him. All that stuff. She's opening herself up for all that shit on a social media level.
Yep.
Sure, not just to her friends and peers, on every level.
Just tell her to move to Bollywood.
Yeah.
Go make music.
Copyright laws don't matter there. Yeah.
Right. It's true.
Just saying. I mean, it's not necessarily what she wants, but it might work, right? So
yeah.
I actually don't know how Sony's. I mean, it can't possibly be across
international,
right?
Well, I mean, it's all about copyright laws, though. I mean, or not copyright. I guess it would be kind of copyright laws.
Well, it's not. Well, no. In this case, it's going to be.
I'm thinking of their spoof movies and stuff.
Oh, no. This is going to be specifically to the terms of her contract.
You would just have to the only thing that probably wouldn't happen is the distributors and retailers that deal specifically with Sony would not carry this album, but it's the internet age.
Right.
She could just throw something up on YouTube and.
That's that.
Yeah.
Hell, she could probably take her whole case to YouTube. Start doing some video blogs or something about this stuff. I mean, if you want to drum up support, it's the best way to do it. Make it public. They want to make it public. Make it more public.
Right.
How much? I wonder how much it would cost to buy out her contract.
They have no interest in doing that.
Right.
They would have just offered her that
settled, up front,
in the first case, but they have no interest in doing that.
Right.
Oh man, why ruin someone's life because they won't do an extra couple albums with you? Is that where it's at now?
Well, it's specifically this producer.
Right.
But not necessarily just with Sony. It's specifically this producer. She has to do it. Not even just with Sony, with this producer. I don't know what the dude's name is. I don't. But But like, why not have some other producer who works for Sony do the work?
It's come to this.
But it's this dude.
Yeah, this dude is doing this to her. It's not. Yeah. It's not like Sony altogether. Though, honest to goodness, Sony is being entirely complacent. With
I mean, if he's sitting there representing Sony in this whole situation, then that's going to represent Sony as a whole. I mean, apparently Sony as a whole is okay with rapists and stuff like that. So.
Well, they're Japanese, so.
Whoa.
You can't tell me that rape culture doesn't exist in Japan.
You're right.
Like, people talk about rape culture, nowhere is it more prevalent, I would say, or at least more obvious than in Japan.
Yeah.
Except for the Japanese people don't have sex.
It's true.
Not with each other.
I've seen videos.
There's a gun at the other side of that video. Do it.
They still have kids.
Yeah.
Laboratory grown.
Yeah.
But that's. I mean, there's really not a whole lot more we can really say on that. I mean, we could gripe and complain, but it's a shitty situation.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the good guy lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only way to fix it is take to the court of public opinion. Yeah. Raise a ruckus.
Well, could they take it? Could it be like a Supreme Court? I wonder if they could, if they take it to the Supreme Court or whatever, if they could overturn that and overrule it.
I don't know enough about what kind of cases the Supreme Court would take to make a judgment call on that.
Yeah, I don't know either for sure. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I don't see why it couldn't go up to the Supreme Court.
The other thing, I mean, it probably wouldn't become like a congressional thing because that's not really, that's.
Congress doesn't sit their nose in every goddamn thing.
That's true. That's true.
They will
Shkreli
on anything.
Oh, speaking of Shkreli, is it Shkreli?
Shkreli. Yeah.
Shkreli. Didn't he just get like 15 or some million stolen from him?
Shkreli? Oh, Mark Shkreli?
Yeah.
I hope.
You see, here's the thing.
I hope, but I don't think so.
Because he was crying on a video.
Yeah.
It
was like a live thing. It was almost like a Twitch thing that he was doing.
Here's the thing about Mark Shkreli. He's not really that bad a dude. If you do the digging,
all right,
and you look up actual facts about him, yes, they raised the price on this AIDS medication. Yes, that he did. Is he absolutely horrible in public? Yes, absolutely he is.
So he's not a bad guy though.
But he's not a bad dude. Because if you look at, he has done more to get bad drugs that don't work taken off the market, removed from the market. He's done a lot of stuff in the past before he took over this company and raised the cost of this AIDS medication, which he put 70% of the money of the profit that he makes from that back into research for new R&D for other medications, as opposed to most companies which will do 10%, 15%. He does more things than just being a jackass on TV, which he does. Don't get me wrong. That smirky face on TV, just bitch needs punched in the face when he does that shit. Yeah. But if you look at the research, look at the true facts, not that bad a dude.
I don't know.
You just
know because you look at his face.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Everyone's the same with the internet thing.
He's just being an apologist, and it's disgusting and it's wrong. Hey, let's talk about Nazis now, Roby.
Let's talk about them. Not that bad. I'm just saying, everybody gets caught up in the first thing you hear about this dude on the internet is that he did this. No one knows any real facts. It storms through social media. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon. We fucking hate Martin Shkreli. That guy's a douche.
He's a douche.
But nobody knows the real information about what else he's done in his life. Nobody does the real.
He's put 70% of the money he's made from these medications into making more medications that he can make more money off of. What a saint! What a saint!
Sounds like an amazing guy.
Not what I did.
He's gotten medications off the market that could potentially get him and ruin his entire business because they fuck with people and kill them. What a saint! This guy is an amazing human. Shut up.
He is not the bad guy everyone paints him out to be.
Right.
He's not a good guy.
He's not a good guy, though.
But he's not the bad guy everyone paints him out to be. That's all I'm saying.
So what?
How do you know he's not a good guy?
So he's not a giant cock and balls. He's still a pair of cock and balls.
Nobody with that face is a good guy. That face.
That face is ridiculous.
It's calculating.
It is an utterly hateable face.
Listen, you're being...
It's utterly hateable.
You're being so... You're like...
Look, find something out before you talk some shit.
No.
Okay?
No.
Go do some fucking research.
No.
Look at something.
You told me.
Don't find...
You're the one who just told me all these points that, honest to goodness...
Facebook. Facebook told me this dude's an asshole, so I believe it. Facebook said so.
I'm going off of what you just told me.
So.
Which somehow you think makes him awesome. And I'm
I don't think makes him awesome.
Makes him not as bad?
Yeah.
Also wrong?
No, not wrong.
What terms would you like? Doesn't matter, it's wrong. He's
getting the popcorn.
He's an ass.
Fair enough. You're wrong. And you're uninformed, which is the worst kind of wrong.
No, what it is there's public opinion, and you're like, I don't like it because I'm Roby.
No, that's absolutely
That's
not
100% what it is.
The original internet
Not the
hipster.
case.
So he's doing good things for his business so he can make more money.
He's not doing good things for his business.
What a saint. Oh, you're right. None of those things are good for his business? R&D for more drugs isn't good for his business?
No, I'm sure it's good for his business.
Yes, exactly.
But it's also good for people.
What a saint.
It's also good for the people.
You know what else is not good for people? Making those drugs so fucking expensive they can't afford them.
Fair enough.
Get out of here.
You're ridiculous.
Moving
Learn something and come
past-
back.
I did.
You did not.
What you just told me.
You did not.
Which is full of I don't know where you
Okay, right.
coming up with more ways to make himself money.
I'll find an article for you. So you can educate yourself
Yeah.
about something.
All right, email it to me.
Or you can just
Email it to
Or
me.
you can just read Facebook again
Email it to me.
with a picture of a punchable face.
Email it to
smirking
me.
at you.
And then we'll talk about this next week, and I can't wait to tell you how stupid you still are.
That's fair. Because you'll still be wrong.
All right, next
Yeah.
week we're going to have the follow-up conversation of Mark
there's no follow-up
Shkreli
call.
skis.
There's no follow-up
He
conversation.
won't
I
read
know.
anything.
Roby just likes.
I'm going to post it on
railing against
Facebook
the
so that he'll
popular
find
opinion.
it. But
He just likes to rail against
because if I
popular
post it on
opinion.
Facebook, he won't read it. Because that's where Connor gets all of his news information from.
Oh yeah, sure.
What's on Facebook? Did somebody say it on Facebook that it's not true?
So what did you read this? Read it somewhere on an MRA? Get out of here.
An MRA? What?
Yeah. I'm just adding more shit to your shitstorm.
Reddit
It doesn't
something
matter
about an
anymore?
MRA? What are you talking about? What's an MRA? Why do I read things on an MRA?
I said on Reddit in an MRA. Subreddit? Do I need to say subreddit on Reddit? Is that really confusing for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm
alright.
confused as to what an MRA is on Reddit.
So now we know that Roby gets confused, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. We've created this.
Oh,
Baseline
so there's
Like I said, come back when you know something.
there's some censorship stuff going on about the Cammy intro for the new Street Fighter
Oh, for
5.
Street Fighter 5.
And Mika, yeah.
And Mika.
Yeah.
Now, we've only seen the Cammy though, right? We didn't get a chance to see the.
Well,
Mika.
I've seen the Mika one as well, but
I'm sure we could look it up online. if you
yeah,
want
the
to.
censorship
but-
actually took place a while ago,
Okay,
like when the beta was still happening.
I got you.
There's a shot where you have in Cammy's intro where it's a fairly unapologetic crotch shot.
Right.
And then there's also for our Mika, she has her super arts ability. She smacks her butt, and it's just just a shot of her butt. She smacks it, and then she points at the guy like she's gonna do her attack or whatever right before she does her attack.
Right. Which it should be pointed out that her attack is with her butt.
A lot.
Yes.
And another woman's butt.
Yes.
It's a double butt attack.
Yes.
So
It is.
Can you even be mad at that? Like,
Yeah.
if someone's beating you up with a butt, can you be mad about that?
well, there's
Yes. Well, maybe, I guess.
there's two sides to this that I see.
Okay,
I am okay with the censorship. I really am.
I am too. Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
No, it's
It doesn't matter. You don't have a right to see Cammy's crotch.
Right. It's just if you're complaining about censorship because you don't get to see some digital crotch, you need to get out more. Honest to God,
Yeah.
it's not that big a deal. It
Right.
really
or it's
isn't.
Beat some
your internet browser.
Right. Or, for God's sakes, the internet's full of
Yeah.
Cammy's crotch. You could.
Oh, it's
I'm
ludicrous.
sure you could find millions of pictures of Cammy's crotch on the internet.
Yeah. Well, the thing that really gets me though, more than this, the flip side of this is that they've gone through this link to censor these shots, but has anybody played this game? Has anyone seen the character Armika?
Right.
Has seen Laura? Has seen Cammy?
Yeah.
Right. Cammy's
What's the
bad.
point of this censorship?
True.
That's the other side of it. I'm okay with making things a little bit more decent.
Right.
I'm perfectly okay with this. But this halfway bullshit, not even halfway.
Yeah.
I just don't understand.
Yeah.
It's a fairly pointless gesture in reality.
Yeah.
If you're gonna actually do some censorship, maybe make a game that isn't so unabashed about the sexiness of its females.
Yeah. Just sexualizing the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, the males are also ridiculously out of proportion and ridiculous and crazy and the game is racist. The game is sexist. Like,
absolutely racist.
you know, this is Street Fighter throughout the years. That being said, I've really enjoyed the game.
As the fighting game is good, but we can realize that, you know, they're racist about a lot of shit.
Yeah, they are.
They really are.
They really are. But
really are.
I don't know. Like, to Capcom, okay, well, we'll censor that. I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Right.
Like one of
this particular crotch shot you're gonna censor because
all right, we went too
you see
far.
Cammy's crotch a bajillion times focused on it.
yeah, through the rest of just
Yeah,
throughout
like,
a match.
throughout her match, right?
Like Laura's alternate costume is just completely just a ton of underboob, just unabashed.
It's a goddamn ton of underboob.
It's just underboob.
Like very tiny jean shorts that are unbuttoned.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like worse than Daisy Dukes.
Yeah.
You can see her thong, they're like stretching up over her little shorts. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous. And I'm like, why are we... I don't understand.
Right. Why do we bother? Why bother, like, with these two shots in particular? Like,
and I mean,
this is too much. This is too far. That's where the line is. It's right here.
Right.
Whoa.
The line's
we
right
can't
here.
see
This is where it's
crotch.
at.
It's too much.
Well, and Mika's butt slap still happens. It's just faster.
Right.
It's just it doesn't focus on her butt for as long as it did beforehand. Cammy's crotch
Which gives us
shot
more time to focus on her tits, which we focus on all the rest of the time.
Right. Like her outfit is so tight that it's literally pushing her boobs in.
Yep.
Yes.
Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and it does have that like ass cheeks cut out, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she has like ass windows in her pants.
Yeah. No.
Her cheeks hang
You
out.
say windows, but it's like giant French doors.
Right.
It's like a small sliver of string in between her crack.
Yeah.
And it's no better for Cammy. I mean,
No.
half the when you win with Cammy, she
Cammy's
just
always-
turns around and shows you her ass.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It's a weird. But it is Japanese. And Japanese likes to censor the weird shit.
That's
Like,
true.
They censor the oddest
true.
things. So I guess whatever. But just I don't know. It's just odd to me.
It's so weird.
That being said, I mean, I would really like to see a game that doesn't like. Don't get me wrong, I have no problems against sexiness in video games. I'm completely okay with it. I think it's fine. I think that it doesn't need to be as completely.
Like,
What's the word? I guess. I don't want to say shameless because that's not the right word. Because most of the time when you're being provocative, it's somewhat shameless. But
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
unapologetic. I don't know.
unapologetic.
that's a
Right.
better.
It's just borderline abusive almost. Even.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know, it's like, okay, we get it. We get it. We get it.
yeah.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
could have got it without ass windows. We could have got it.
Right.
Without the cheek windows, we would have known still.
Yeah.
You know? She
Yeah.
could have been wearing more clothes and everything would have been A-okay.
I mean, you have characters like in. I'm going to use Killer Instinct for an example, that are female that have some sexiness to them, but it's not overt, and it's not abuse of that, I guess, appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at the flip side of that, you've got the extreme, which is like Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
Oh
stuff like
yeah,
that. So I mean,
yeah,
it's
that's
like
actually way
Dead
worse.
or
than-
Alive had a meter.
Age meter,
Specifically to decide how large you wanted the female character's tits to be.
or how bouncy they were.
How bouncy they were.
Yeah.
You can move it back and forth to make them bigger and bouncier, or smaller and less bouncy.
I will
They
say
only
this,
had one
though.
size for boobs in Dead or Alive. That was
When you had it all the way to the far side, where it was like maximum bounds,
It was
it
ridiculous.
was ridiculous.
It was
just like
ridiculous.
you can't see my hands, but they are flailing wildly
It
Yeah. It was
was
pretty crazy.
in opposite directions.
I don't know. It's just mostly unnecessary. It's gratuitous. That's the word I'm thinking of. Gratuitous.
It is gratuitous, that's for
It's
sure.
gratuitous. And you know, I have no problem with having sexy characters in games, but like, it doesn't need to be that gratuitous.
Well, there's a way, like Bayonetta, for example.
Uh huh.
I mean, it's fairly sexual and stuff like
Yeah,
that,
oh,
with
yeah.
what she does, but it's not as bad as like Dead or Alive. Yeah, she does.
Oh, Bayonetta?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she does a lot of like splits and stuff like that, but that's because her shoes are guns and it's
Well,
weird.
she was created like that. Her shoes with guns for the purpose of her doing splits. But like,
Okay, so bad example. then.
Yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
Bayonetta's the greatest example.
I think Bayonetta is pretty gratuitous as well. But the whole game is gratuitous, not just the sexiness of it. Like, the game is completely over the top. I'm actually okay for the most part with Bayonetta because that's the flavor of the game. The flavor of the game is over the top craziness, all over the place.
Right.
And for the most part, I'm okay with it. Street Fighter, for Street Fighter, a lot of times you're making them sexy for no real purpose. You're making them half clothed for no real purpose.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
You'd think you'd want to have like more clothes on and pads and stuff, considering that you are street fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Chun-Li is a good example of like how I would like most of the female characters to be. Chun-Li shows some leg, right? She's not scantily clad, however, and her outfit for the most part makes sense for her fighting style, for what she does.
Yes.
A lot of kicks, so she has a little draping going on, hose, but she's for the most part pretty well covered and clothed. Right. She's still sexy.
Yeah.
But she's not gratuitous.
Still tight. Yeah, it's still like skin tight, but at the same time, you're right. It's not Cammy.
Yeah. It's not Cammy.
It's like a 1982 bathing suit that's just like super porn star.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of weird stuff going on now on that front, but...
Well, let's get into the game mechanics, because we've got to actually play some.
Yes.
Yeah, we played some.
Spoiler, or not really spoiler, forewarning, I am not a Street Fighter player type of guy, but I had fun. It was fun.
How's your thumbs?
They're sore. I don't have a blister, although I was almost positive I was going to have a blister.
You didn't play enough then?
Well, yeah. All I know is like I played enough to the point where my thumbs couldn't move anymore. Because like I never play those sorts of games, so he's like, just do this attack, this attack, this attack. And I'm like, I literally cannot do that attack. I can't.
I actually don't even feel that anymore. I played it so much, that game so much, I don't even feel it anymore. Though, to be honest, I still want to get a fight stick for the game. It's only because it has nothing to do with the D-pad. I think the stick is actually, if I could like have a D-pad and then like buttons, that's the way I would do it. Because I think the D-pad is easier for the directional movements, but I like having access to all my buttons easily. And that's like the real problem I have with the controller is the triggers are just awkward.
The triggers are awkward. No matter how they design it, they're always awkward.
Yeah.
And the PS4 controller is it's too small for me, really. I mean, like, I can mash the shapes buttons all day and stuff like that, but when I have to do the triggers, the controllers, and the sticks, nope, I'm good. I'm out.
I want to get one of those. They make a controller for handicapped people who have like hands that don't work correctly. That has like extra levers so that you can they have extra buttons on the controller that will pull the triggers instead.
Oh wow!
And so a lot of people actually get them to play with. Like a lot of there are some like pro shooters who play shooters who will get them because it's actually faster than hitting a trigger that way.
Huh.
So they actually will order these controllers that are for handicapped people to play with all the time.
That's fascinating.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I know that like the actual game for Street Fighter is one of these games that, I mean, if you've never played a fighting game before, has a lot of movements on the D-pad that involve like down, forward, and then a button to throw a fireball, for example. And those movements have a tendency. That's the simplest of them for the most part.
Yeah.
They only get progressively more difficult to perform there on end. And so a lot of people for a long time thought that like the only way you could play the game well was on a stick. And then in recent years, especially in Street Fighter 4, a lot of pad warriors come out. Some of the best players in the world use pads now. Have come along and now they're accepted. But now you got guys who are literally quadriplegics.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I watched some of those videos of this guy. It's nuts.
It's insane.
What's his name?
Brawly Legs.
Brawly Legs, yeah.
Brawly Legs. He's quadriplegic. He plays with his face and his mouth. And he is really good. He's not just a little good. The guy is really good.
He is.
I'm like, I mean, if you think about that, how difficult that is for the move. Like, not even.
It's difficult. It's harder for me with my two hands.
Right. Right.
Looking at the screen normally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
not like this.
He's got his head down on the pad or whatever. So
it's sideways.
He's looking at the screen sideways.
Yeah.
So like he has to press left to jump.
With his cheek
or
and
right
like
to jump with his cheek or whatever. You know what I mean? He's got to remember if he's like on one side of the screen or the other side of the screen, it's all different then.
Yeah.
And he is professional.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's good.
He's really good. He's really talented.
Just watch him. Watch some of his videos. This guy, you'll just be like, wow.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah.
It's I don't know, but the game itself is actually like pretty fantastic. It's a pretty big departure from 4, I think.
Yeah, 4 was basically Street Blocker 4. It was all about like defend, and punish, defend and punish. This one doesn't feel as defendy punishy. I mean, it's still the name of the game in reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's still like you win, but it feels like, at least to me, I'm not a professional at any level, but I'm a little more experienced than Ryan. But it doesn't feel as defendy as the other one.
What? I feel like I just got smacked.
No, I'm just saying, I'm just saying I've played more than you have.
Well, that may be the case, but there could have been a different way to word that. My feels, bro.
I'm sorry that your feels got hurt over nothing. I apologize for that.
That wasn't smack.
I know. I know.
But well, I mean, the big differences between this game and 4, the reason why you're seeing or feeling that difference is because in 4 you could make certain moves safe using the dash cancels. So
Yeah.
if somebody's like jumping in at you, you could try and do an uppercut, and if you mistimed it, you could just dash cancel out of it. So you cancel the animation, you don't actually do the uppercut, can't be punished for it.
Right.
In this game, you have to commit.
Yeah.
If like you think someone's gonna jump in at you, like one of the biggest things right now is like in any of the Street Fighter games is the meaty, and the meaty is a scenario where somebody's getting up. And you put your foot basically right where they're getting up, and the last active frames of your kick or punch will hit them, and they won't have time to like actually do anything but block. The only thing they can do is block. If they try to do anything else, they'll get hit. Well, the meaty's very difficult to do. It was much easier in 4 than it is in this game. So that's another reason why you're seeing like more offense, less defense, is because meaties are harder to pull off than they were before. So it makes it, and you have to commit to that uppercut. You have to commit to whatever you're doing because you can't just make it safe.
It out anymore, yeah.
You can't just make it safe. So
I think it makes the game more fun.
oh, it's a lot more fun. Yeah, I think it's a lot more fun, and there's much higher damage in this
Yes,
game. Much higher.
The damage is much higher.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's almost even more casual friendly even
it's much more casual.
Really?
than the other ones.
Well, that's true, yeah. I mean, I got on and I was playing it, and I did okay.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned on a streak 4 or 5 wins in a row.
Yeah, well, that's because Ryu's very easy to...
Right, well, Ryu is like the easiest. He's the most, I think, whenever anyone picks it up, I always suggest they play Ryu first.
Okay.
He's the most, like, basic, but still good character.
Very straightforward.
You know?
Yeah, it's very straightforward.
His punches and kicks all go where you think they should go. They're not weird.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like some of the other people, they're
like-
easy to understand and telegraph, so you know where they're going.
There's a couple people, though, you could see that are not for beginners.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I even tried to play a couple of those characters that are not for beginners, and I learned real fast that this is not the game for, like,
Yeah.
this is a bad idea. It's a
Right.
bad call.
Yep.
Well, yeah. There's a number of characters who are really, really strong, but you put them in the hands of a beginner, and they're gonna get mauled. That beginner.
Was it, I played that one guy who has unlimited V-power or something. He's like the new guy.
Nicole.
Yeah. Supposed to be a good character, right?
He's,
From what I understand.
He's a very good character, actually.
But, like, I couldn't do nothing but get my face pushed in.
I think everybody feels pretty decent. Like everybody sort of has options, and I've seen a number of tournaments now where everybody was represented in one form or another, and everybody did pretty well. The only character I really didn't see much of was Fang, but he was like the newest of the new. He was the last character to be revealed.
He kind of annoyed me. He's a little brown noser. All up inside that bison ass. He's just like, he's just up in there like, yeah.
I like Bison.
Yeah, it's like, Bison's not going to like you when you lose. Don't call his name. He doesn't care.
He barely likes you when you win.
Right, he's going to clone you and make sure that you're twice as strong the next time around. The way it works.
Bison's also like pretty different.
Bison's a lot different.
Bison's pretty
I
different.
was kind of sad that they didn't have the Psycho Crusher. I just like it because
Crusher spam.
Psycho Crusher. I mean,
Only,
just-
only as a super art.
Yeah.
He gets to do it as a super.
It's
that's
critical art.
Yeah. Critical art, yeah.
But used to be back in the day, you could just spam that back and forth, back and forth.
It got a little ridiculous.
Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
What kills me about that?
That's all I did.
Yeah.
Well, it's even a little meaner than Raiden's because you block Raiden's, he just bounces off you and you can punish Raiden. It was really hard to punish Psycho Crusher unless he was doing it into a corner.
Yeah,
it was
because he would go through you and be on the other side and coming back again before you could do anything else.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
brutal.
It was even more tricky because if you did it correctly on their wake up, you would go over their body and they would get up into it, but you would be on the other side, and so they had to block the right side. So it was a cross up too. It was an extremely ambiguous one, very hard to see where they were hitting you from. So yeah,
dick move.
Yeah.
If you got timed right, you would just annihilate somebody.
That being said,
yeah.
Just because he doesn't have it in this doesn't mean he's bad. He's actually very good. His damage output's ridiculous.
Yeah, he hurts a lot.
He does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
He has some pretty really very damaging combos.
His stomp is back, right? He sells the stomp, sells the scissor kick.
Yeah.
He even has the thing where he stands on your head, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the stomp. You're like,
slides on the forward front flip with the two legs.
That's the scissor kick.
Okay.
Even though it looks nothing at all like scissors in reality.
Scissor.
It's like scissor kick.
Mr. Garrison.
But let's see. I think a lot of the reason why it's easier is because there's really the same number of meters and mechanics, but they're just performed more easily.
I agree.
And that's really what it comes down to. You had the EX bar / super bar in the last
and
one.
the EX feels like on a casual level, it feels less necessary to be able to do EX moves on a regular basis.
Well, EX moves are the same movements, just 2 buttons.
Right.
But
I felt like in 4, if you didn't know how to properly use your EX moves, you were never going to be successful.
If you didn't know how
in this one, I don't think I do EX moves on accident sometimes, but I don't feel like I'm like, oh, I have to charge my EX Turtle kick here, or I have to do I have to save a bar for my EX, Hadouken here, or whatever.
I think that depends on the level of competition that you're facing mostly.
That's fair.
Knowing how to use your EX bar effectively is important, and I think it's still important in this game. It's just that there's less to have to worry about. Like with your EX meter, you either can fill it up into your critical art, or you use your EX moves. There's none of this dash canceling going on,
right?
Which was or red focus, or focus. None of that exists,
right?
So you don't have this focus attack. You don't have this red focus cancel, which takes up super bar. You don't have dash canceling. You don't have any of that.
Right.
That makes it far more simple in reality. And you know what? It's a better game for it.
Agreed.
And they've also got rid of a lot of other things that were really high level that if you played for and you didn't know about them, you were at a huge disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
Things like certain option selects. Like crouch teching was a thing. What that means is if somebody were to knock you down in 4, they would come up to you and they would threaten something. And they would either threaten a throw or punch you or whatever. Or they would try to bait out an uppercut from you or something like that. Well, in 4, you could do something called a crouch tech, which covered a lot of bases of defense. You would crouch, which protects you from down attacks. You would then hit your throw buttons, which is light punch, light kick at the same time. If it was a throw that they were trying to do, you would tech the throw.
You tech the throw.
You tech the throw. You cancel the throw out. If they were trying to punch you with an attack, you throw out a light attack instead, and hit them and interrupt their attack.
Right.
And it was really freaking annoying. This covered a lot of options, and it was very difficult to do. A lot of people felt like the only thing they could do was back off.
Right.
Back off or throw in a meaty if they were good enough to throw in a meaty. Right. It was a very difficult situation to deal with. Crouch teching was really good. That's gone. But that's those kind of things people didn't know about in 4. The people who just picked up the game didn't know about crouch teching. They didn't know things about P-linking.
Never heard of it until now. So
exactly. Well, there's something called P-linking or plinking is what they called it in 4, and that was when you had these really difficult what they call one-frame links, where if you had to hit the button, you had one frame to produce this effect where you were hitting a medium punch twice, for instance, and you had one frame of error. 1/60th of a second, and if you did it right, you would link the attacks and it would be a combo. But if you didn't, they could just uppercut you right out of it, and you would,
sad face.
Be sad face.
Yeah.
So there was a technique called P-linking, which is I'm not even gonna go into it, but basically it's a technique used to reduce the amount of times you screw that up.
Oh jeez.
But Who knows about that? Who even knows about one-frame links, let alone p-linking?
Right.
You know,
Would you say that those are not present in 5?
hardly at all.
That's a good thing.
Hardly at all.
Yeah.
So they've made the game more fun, like you said, beginner-friendly, professional-friendly overall.
Yeah, it
so.
still has a very high skill cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played for a couple hours the other night. Had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. I didn't expect to really enjoy the game as much as because I went into it like I'm gonna watch these guys play a little bit here for about an hour, then I'm gonna go home and do something else, and I ended up staying for like 4 hours.
Yeah,
it was
playing
a
the damn game. But final thoughts, pretty good. Check it out.
Well, it has problems.
Well, okay.
The first thing was, luckily this is over now, but
There's not enough booty in the game for
oh
one.
jeez,
This game needs way more booty.
I don't know about that.
Needs to knock out that censorship so we can see.
We need some Macaulay booty. We need some
Right.
Kim booty. We need some Ryu booty.
Exactly. There's not nearly enough man ass in this game.
Bring Dan
Yeah.
back. We need some Dan booty.
The only one who can be like, who acts even remotely sexual in the game, as far as like, would probably be, what do you think, Vega? And even that, he's just psychotic and scary.
Yeah, he's like that weird.
He's like Wild Bill.
He's like weird, uncomfortable sexual.
Yeah, like Wild Bill sexy.
Yeah, like
I'd fuck me.
Yeah, like something's not okay with you.
It was a Wild Bill, Buffalo Bill, right?
Buffalo Bill, yeah.
So, I'm sorry.
No,
Buffalo Bill.
it's still funny.
Yeah.
Right, fuck me.
But
fuck me hard.
some of the problems that the game has is that, the netcode is really good. I got to play a few online games. Netcode's fantastic. The problems it does have, though, is that it has a smaller cast of characters.
Well, that's right now. You didn't force it off with that many. Well, before I had a little bit.
It had more than... No, it was about the same.
Yeah, it was about the same. It was about 12, I think, when 4 first came.
It might have been 16 for...
And then they released Ultimate or whatever 4, and that had more characters, and they put in some DLC characters and all that.
Right.
Which they're gonna do for.
They're gonna do for this one as well. But it has a smaller cast than a lot of other fighting games, I think, initially.
Well, there are not a lot of traditional returners.
No. Well...
You got Roby and Connor,
cast.
Bison's back as a traditional, like people who have been in all of them.
Where's Honda? Honda's not.
No, he's not.
There's no Honda. There's no Blanca.
Yeah, we don't need a Blanca. We don't need a Honda. That's fine.
I'm just saying, Honda and Blanca were in a lot of the other
They'll
books.
probably bring it.
They're not around here now. There's no Guile.
Guile's coming.
Guile's coming, but he didn't come on release.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unfamiliar faces to people who are less familiar with every Street Fighter game.
Yeah, because there's a lot of alpha characters in this one.
Yeah.
Like Birdie and Karen.
I just wonder, who was the one guy from Street Fighter Alpha 3 that had like the blue flame, like he...
Gil? Like he was half red flame? That's Gil.
Yeah.
He's a dickhead.
True, but yeah.
He's one of the worst boss fights ever in any fighting game.
Oh, dude.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Seth was worse. Man, that's about on par, I think. Seth was really bad in 4. He was really annoying.
I think Seth was less annoying than Gil.
I would agree. I think Gil was more
I
annoying.
think Gil was far more annoying
We're
than Seth.
coming up on an hour, guys.
Are we really? Holy crap! How do we?
We talk a lot.
Yeah.
We talk a lot. Let's touch real quick on this.
Okay, what's up?
They did release some casting information for Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell was going to be in the movie.
Mr. Mustache himself.
We assume he will be We'll assume he'll be Star-Lord's dad. No one cares about Baby Groot except for you.
I care
You're
that...
very offended by Baby Groot.
Not offended.
I do not understand why.
Are you offended by Ewoks or are you annoyed by Ewoks?
I'm neither. I don't care
That's
about
right.
Ewoks.
You are like, oh...
I'm an
Ewoks
Ewok
are
apologist,
fine.
okay?
Okay, first off, the Ewoks are now extinct because after the Death Star exploded over Endor, they're all dead anyway. If we want to get into the real physics of
No,
the
bro,
whole
they
thing.
had a fucking party afterwards.
Right, yes, I understand that, but the party had to have happened like right before the debris started
You don't
to fall.
remember the song?
No, I do.
Okay, how do you feel about Jar Jar Binks? Do you care about Jar Jar Binks?
I was annoyed by Jar Jar Binks, and I
Right.
disliked Jar Jar Binks.
Okay.
He didn't add anything to the show.
Do you feel like Baby Groot's gonna add something?
I don't know.
Or do you think he's gonna sit around there and be fucking cute all the time? That's what Baby
Make
Groot
little
does.
dance moves on Homeboy's
Look, the
shoulder
Ewoks took down the Empire, alright? They killed stormtroopers.
with sticks and stones.
And stones.
That apparently
They killed stormtroopers.
Didn't Jar Jar Binks do something important? I can't remember.
He
No.
basically brought down the entire android front wall defense.
He
stuff.
brought down the Galactic Republic, is what he did.
Well, I remember that part too. Yeah, I remember that part.
He
That's what he did.
also
I suppose that was important. but didn't have to have.
He was also the deciding voice that allowed Palpatine to gain power and take power.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Right on the Republic,
I thought you were talking about.
That's what he really did. That was important. We don't talk about what he did in episode 1 because that didn't happen. There was no episode 1. There was only episode 3.
Yeah, 3 through now.
Barely.
Right. 3 gets allowed to exist. 2 was so horrible.
3 gets allowed to
I don't
exist?
like sand. 3 was the best of them.
I mean, maybe, but it was still... I guess, yeah, best of the 3... Okay.
3 was the best of those ones.
I tried to go to the theater to see 3 2 times. Each time I made it 15 minutes and couldn't take it anymore and walked out. I really wanted to see it in the theaters, but even though it was a terrible...
We watched it.
I saw it in theaters.
We watched it all.
Well, I was burned by the first one.
I was in Utah when it came out.
Yeah.
Oh, where
it came out, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I know I watched it all in the theater.
I watched all of them in theaters, yeah.
It was terrible.
I couldn't do it. I was just like...
Travesty.
3 wasn't... In the beginning of 3 wasn't that bad. Not compared to 2. 2 was so horrible.
Listen, we can look at 3 piles of crap and decide which one's less stinky.
Yes,
but
and that's what we're doing right now.
Shit.
That is exactly what we're doing right now.
We should just flush those down and start off with a new hope.
Anyway, also, they're bringing in additional other characters to join the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh.
Including Mantis.
Cool.
Who I don't know if you're familiar with or not, but she's going to be a French actress to play Mantis.
Only vaguely.
And yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with her.
Yeah, only vaguely.
And then they are bringing in another woman who may or may not be Phyla Marvell.
Interesting.
She was
not familiar.
She was Quasar also.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. All right, gotcha.
So she may or may not be Quasar. I don't know for sure. And then another dude who no one knows for sure who he's going to be. So I'm assuming someone's going to be a villain, right? And what if Kurt Russell's the villain?
Yeah, what if Papa Star-Lord is the bad guy?
Well, what if he's not Papa Star-Lord? What if he's just the villain?
Yeah. I'm alright with that. Russell's a good guy. He's a good villain.
I don't remember if Papa Star-Lord in the comics was a bad guy or not.
He's kind of a dick, wasn't he?
He was kind of a dick, but he wasn't a bad guy. Jason.
He was on his own. He did his own thing for his own interest.
He was like an ancient king of something or whatever.
Yeah.
He was just kind of a douche, but he wasn't a villain.
Okay. It's a shame.
So
he did leave a little boy on Earth stranded with his cancer-ridden mother.
Yeah, we could use some daddy issues in this.
And then sent a bunch of marauders.
We got mad daddy issues, so it's different.
Yeah.
Well, we already have mommy issues. We just need daddy issues too.
Right.
And mom's dead.
Give him the full issues, sweet.
Yeah. Issues. Sweet of issues.
So yeah, I wonder if they're really going to get into more Thanos. I mean, obviously they're going to have to, but like,
eventually.
I wonder if it's going to be. This is going to be the driving thing.
This is going to be a lot more Thanos, because that's what I hear too. Is that there's a possibility that Thanos is the main villain in this one.
Oh, which means they're going to lose. But
that's what it means.
Ostensibly, yeah.
That's what it means. So, because Nebula's supposed to be back as well.
Awesome.
And so, there's supposed to be some more build up between her and Gamora.
Hopefully, they do more with Gamora. I really want to see more with Gamora. Yeah,
I do too.
A lot of people really liked Guardians. I liked Guardians, but I didn't like it as much as most. I think
a lot of people liked Guardians because it felt like a fresh new take on the comic book movie.
Yeah.
Much like Deadpool, I think. Deadpool's basically a rom-com comic book movie.
Yeah.
Because for all intents and purposes, it's a fucking rom-com.
Yeah.
A made for men rom-com.
Yeah.
Oh, let's not kid ourselves.
It's a rom-com.
That being said,
and Guardians of the Galaxy was sort of like fresh and new take. It wasn't like, here's white dude A, he has to save the world, blah blah, whatever. You know what I mean? So it was sort of a fresh new spin on it, and that's why I think everybody enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, maybe. I would agree with that. I didn't like it quite as much personally.
Whoever comes up with an answer first should say.
Wow.
What was that?
I don't know.
That was like, I think that was Cortana listening to a
Cortana.
conversation.
Cortana.
Weighing in. Thanks, Cortana.
Thanks, Cortana. But
so, well, we can go. I mean, you were finishing a statement?
Oh, just that it's not really important. Just the Guardians of the Galaxy I didn't like quite as much because I think they needed to spend more time specifically on Gamora, who's a very interesting and cool character, and I don't think they explored her quite as much as they should have. But
okay, fair enough.
That's about it.
All right, well, in that case, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. That's it for episode 76. Check us out at RSGPodcast.com, where this will be up there. That'll also give you links to our other social medias, which is Facebook and Twitter, which we should really use Twitter a lot more.
Meh.
You should. I agree.
Okay, I'll do the Twitters. But yeah, so thanks for coming out. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that. If you have a difference of opinion, please share it. We'd like to tell you why you're incorrect. Yeah. So have a good
Once
day.
you're telling Roby he's incorrect, then it's fine.
Well, yeah. We'll take it
Except
on a
that we
case.
know that that's never happened.
It's on a case by case basis.
I'm never wrong about anything, so I don't know why you would even bother to try.
All right, we'll see you.
You'll just get shut down.